This story isn't for children at all. Imagine living in a house where every single day feels like a nightmare. You're locked away, chained to your bed, starving, and completely cut off from the outside world. No one even knows you exist. That was the reality for 13 kids from the Turpin family. But one phone call changed everything, revealing one of the most shocking cases of child abuse the world had ever seen. This is the terrifying story that left everyone speechless. From the outside, David and Louise Turpin seemed like your typical suburban couple. They had 13 children, which raised some eyebrows, but they looked like a happy family. David had a good job as an engineer, and Louise was a stay-at-home mom, raising their kids. They even took family trips to Disneyland and post smiling pictures on social media. But behind closed doors, things were far from normal. David and Louise start to slowly cut their kids off from the world. They pulled them out of school, claiming they'd homeschool them instead. But what really happened was far darker than anyone could imagine. The Turpin's obsession with control quickly turned into something nightmarish. They locked their kids inside a house, keeping them away from everyone. Over time, this control became pure torture. The children were chained to their beds, denied food, and sometimes weren't even allowed to shower for months. David and Louise used their twisted version of religion to justify their action. They believed they were protecting their children from the evils of the outside world, but in reality, they were turning their home into a personal prison where their kids had no hope of escape. When the police finally entered the house in January 2018, what they found was horrifying. The children were severely malnourished, some too weak to even stand. Their skin was pale, and their bodies were covered in bruises. Many of them hadn't seen sunlight in years. The house was filthy, and the essence of human waste filled the air. These kids, who should have been living normal lives, were trapped in a living hell. But everything changed when one brave girl, 17-year-old Jordan Turpin, found the courage to escape. She had been planning her escape for 2 years, and in the middle of the night, she climbed out of a window and ran for her life. Jordan had never used a phone before, but she somehow managed to call 911. She told the operator that her brother and sister were chained up and that they were all starving. That phone call was a turning point. When the police arrived, they found exactly what Jordan had described: children filthy and sick, some chained to their beds, living in conditions that no one should ever enter. David and Louise Turpin were arrested, and soon the horrifying details of their abuse came out in court. The kids, who ranged in age from 2 to 29, had been tortured for years. They were starved, isolated, and beaten. Some of the older children didn't even know how to act in public or what the world outside was like. The Turpins were sentenced to life in prison, and their kids were finally freed from the nightmare they'd been living for so long. This story shocked the world, not just because of the horror of the abuse, but because it went on for so long without anyone noticing. How could a family that looked so normal be hiding such a dark, twisted secret? The Turpin family story is a chilling reminder that sometimes, behind the walls of an ordinary-looking home, unimaginable horrors can be hiding. If you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the dark realities behind closed doors, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss our next video.